Courage, Fire, Revenge. We are the Spy-Fi guys, and this is Dhurandhar, the Revenge.
Welcome to the Spy-Fi guys.
So I apologize to the universe for that.
Yeah. Wow.
Justice for Dennison.
Is it though?
I laughed, and then I hated myself for laughing. Hello and welcome back to the Spy-Fi guys, where we cover spy fact, spy fiction, and everything in between. I'm Zach.
And I'm Guru.
Welcome back, Guru. Nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't tune in to Dhurandhar 1, which I learned to say correctly this time, Guru is my wife. She's from India. She introduced me to this duo movies, and we're excited to have you back.
Excited to be back.
So today we are talking Dhurandhar, the Revenge, the sequel to the original Dhurandhar, which we covered a couple of months ago. This one is even longer. For those of you who are curious, it's currently on Netflix. We watched the raw and, help me with the pronunciation here.
Undeka, which is unseen.
Yes, even though we originally saw it in a theater.
Yeah, so the raw there has a dual meaning.
Uh-huh.
It is raw.
Right.
It's not like processed.
Yes.
That's sort of raw.
Mm-hmm.
And then also RAW, which is the Research and Analysis Wing of India.
Correct, which is like the CIA.
Yes.
And that's who our characters work for.
That's right.
So that was funny. So we talk a little bit about our history with this movie, or we did for the first Dhurandhar. For the only thing we have to say is, like I said, we saw it in a theater. We were the only ones in the theater because it was the middle of the day on a Wednesday.
It was like a private screening.
Yep, and there was an intermission, which almost never happens in movies these days. But the movie is 3 hours and 45 minutes. So if an intermission is ever warranted, it's warranted there.
Totally.
So anything you want to say about the movie before we get started?
I was excited to watch Dhurandhar 2 after all that we got to see in Dhurandhar 1.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't wait until it came up on Netflix. We booked the show as soon as it came and we watched it in the theaters.
And you weren't the only one. Apparently, as of right now, this will eventually change, but for now, it is the highest grossing Hindi movie of all time.
Not surprised at all.
Well, what's interesting is because it's so violent, you know.
But one thing I'd like to add there about that is India hasn't done movies which a spy job is secretive, so you're not supposed to talk about it because it's under the confidentiality
Right.
clause. This is one of those movies where we get to see what actually a spy does, and that's where the thrill of it is coming, and all the behind the screens of what a spy does, how they infiltrate, how they build their networks, etc. So
I thought about this with the first one, which is I felt like the movie is cathartic, where you get to live vicariously through the hero and fight back against these terrorists that have been plaguing India for so long.
200%.
And you finally watch him hit back, but not in a fictional way. You know it's at least grounded in reality, which makes it feel even better.
Correct.
And this time around, we actually get to finish the story.
Yeah.
Plot synopsis.
Okay, so shall we jump into the plot synopses?
Yes.
So as always, we have our poetry plot synopses. So first we have our haiku for Dhurandhar, the Revenge. She's Pakistani. Her dad and man are Hindu spies. Sucks to be you, kid. Because, it occurred to me that Yelena is barely in this movie compared to the first one. She's really marginalized.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd make the haiku all about her.
Wow.
Sort of.
Wow.
And then here's the limerick for Dhurandhar 2. Hamza's got so much to do. He first won the war versus Papu, then got rid of Uzair and grew some more hair. Time to let his true colors shine through.
Wow. That's a very good summary.
Thank you. But then for those of you who don't feel like that covered the movie adequately, here is the official IMDb plot summary. Jaskarit Singh Ranji descends deeper into his alias as Hamza Ali Mazari, rising through Karachi's criminal hierarchy to claim the feared title Sher-e-Baluch, while balancing loyalty, betrayal, and survival in a ruthless underworld. Okay, so because the movie is so long, as just like the last one, we will not be doing detailed plot recaps.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in broad strokes.
Yeah.
So the first half an hour of the movie is what you might call Hamza's origin story.
Yeah.
It flashes back to before he even was Hamza, when he was just Desecrat, and
Just
he-
Kirat.
just Kirat, excuse me, and it's a John Wick style action scene.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
So there's a brief scene where he picks up his weaponry from a gangster, and then he goes on a killing spree of these criminals in India.
yeah. The scene opens with him obtaining some weapons through his friend.
Right.
That's important.
Yeah, the friend gets introduced and we'll come back later.
Yeah. So are you going to get into that a little bit more, or?
Oh, well, I was speaking in broad strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason why I'm calling out some of these is because we get back to those points again. We touch on those points again.
Right.
So the friend who helped in getting the weapons, we get back.
Yeah. He comes back around.
He's come back around. Also, the politician who provided the weapons also comes back around.
Yes, that's right.
And in the process of obtaining these weapons, we also realize or learn that that politician is also a drug dealer,
Hmm.
which are some important points to touch upon.
Yes.
Um,
It's like a setup and a payoff.
correct.
See, it's interesting because in the beginning of the epilogue, it feels very disconnected.
Yeah.
Both from the first movie and from the rest of this until it comes back around.
Correct.
Another observation I had is that, we'll just call him Hamza, if you don't mind, that Hamza fights like a soldier in this part. The way he moves and he carries his gun,
Yes.
as opposed to every time else we see him, he fights like a gangster where he just walks down the street shooting his gun from his hip,
Yeah.
which is interesting contrast.
Yes. Again, that shows actually his military training, unspoken military training, because, like you said, some of this, some of what is happening slowly reveals through the movie, because the opening is very random. It also touches that he had military training experience.
Right. Well, they say that a couple times as well, but they also show it.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Guru. What was your emotions like when you were watching him kill all of these people in this John Wick opening action scene?
Yeah.
What were you feeling?
Yeah, I think I was confused. The opening scene with the picture sort of gave, I mean, the first scene with where they're taking the picture, right? That gave away that, yes, we are in the past, so this is his background story.
Right.
So that idea was rightly provided. However, the killing part was not clear at all as to why he was doing it,
Hmm.
and it was happening so fast.
Right.
So many people, and there's no dialogue exchange except for, where is my sister?
Right.
Yes, there's a lot of unknown there.
So
I was confused as to why he was doing it and what happened to the sister.
Right. So my feeling, to answer my own question, was
Yep.
I wasn't feeling anything during this opening.
Okay.
And also a little bit of confusion. Okay, he's looking for the sister. Like, I know action movies are supposed to start with an action scene. James Bond movies always do. But I didn't like it. And I feel like already in comparison with the first one, this is a big step down. The beginning of the first one, I feel, is like brilliant. It grabs you. It pulls you in. This is just felt like I was watching a generic action movie.
Yeah. I hear, because of the gore violence, that was not the best of ideas, but actually I can also see how they might have thought about it.
Hmm.
That you start with where you're giving it your full attention because you don't know where this is coming from,
Right.
and you're hooked onto it. Hold on, why is he killing all these people?
Hmm.
Let's see. Let's watch more to understand why he's doing it.
So I have a proposal for you.
Yeah.
So it's revealed later why he does it. So the director is playing games with a timeline.
Yeah.
And I know directors like to do this. people present things in order for a reason,
Yeah.
right? So imagine, if you would, if the movie begins with the picture, then it shows the father and mother and sister get killed and the sister get abducted. The scene where they're with the drug dealer and the drug dealer's like fooling around and making jokes, it would have been full of tension.
Yeah.
Because while all of this is happening, the sister is being held captive and they're doing God knows what to her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's more catharsis when he eventually does find her.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that was like a huge mistake, in my opinion.
I see, not having any context and having to wait for a 30-minute to fill for that context is difficult. But I would call it director style.
Yeah, especially because he doesn't play with the timeline in the rest of the movie.
Correct.
The rest of the movie is pretty straightforward.
Hamza, after killing people, all his people, rescues his sister.
Right.
And she's very disturbed, but they show his emotions transition from like raging anger to compassion.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
Yes. But yes, following that, he surrenders himself to the police.
Well, at least we assume we do because we see him in jail. I feel like he could have gotten away with that. Maybe?
But I think the values and principles still lie. That he was raised well, he knew what he was doing, he went there with an intention, he went there with also the consequences, accepting the consequences. So he was waiting there to get arrested.
Yeah. So he's put on trial. He is found guilty of killing 12 people. And you said that if you watch the John Wick action scene, he does in fact kill 12 people. But instead of going to prison, he gets abducted Tony Stark style. His convoy gets ambushed and he gets recruited by Raw to become the Hamza Ali Mazari that we know and love from the first one.
He is sentenced for, was it? No, I think there's a debate about whether it is life imprisonment or
death penalty. I think they were going to hang him. Yeah.
And in the process of changing from one jail to the other, he gets abducted.
Yes. So I wanted to mention something really quickly is when they're recruiting him, there's a part where he says, "You are asking me to protect the system that ruined my life."
Yeah.
Now, I thought that this was going to be a setup to him having a crisis later where he isn't sure if he wants to be loyal, like his loyalty was going to be tested. But instead, it never goes anywhere, unfortunately. Some of the things set up but don't pay off. Like, for example, really quickly, when he's killing the gangsters, they talk to him like they know who he is, and he knows who they are, but we never have any explanation for that. I mean, it's like we learned it's like a family land dispute, and that's why they know each other, but it was still a weird choice to put it in. But I'm getting off topic. Right.
Where he questions, if my family did never receive justice, why should I serve this country?
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Correct. Because he has such an important job and he's so deep undercover, I thought that his questioning of why am I risking my life to protect the system that failed my father, failed my mother, failed my whole family.
Yeah.
I thought it was setting up to something later.
Oh.
And it doesn't.
Yeah.
Throughout the rest of, not just this movie, but the first one, he never questions his mission.
Yeah.
And he's totally 100% loyal all the time.
Yeah. Because he was already in military. He already swore his life.
Yeah.
So there was a dialogue in between while he's under trial, the show, where the mother is coming to the trails, right? And the trails, he says she would have been prouder if I actually died in the service.
That's true. That's right.
Which means he believes that he sees more value in giving his life in service. He only expressed his disappointment in the system.
Yeah.
That was a disappointment that he's expressing, not the belief that he holds. He still holds the country dear to him. And that's why he was in military and he was back again.
Right.
And
to be a spy.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because in the first one, very briefly at the end, they said, we're going to recruit convicts to be spies. And I'm like, why would you convert people who are of questionable ethics
Yes.
to do this job?
I had an answer for it.
Okay.
Basically, they are recruiting people who have been charged of either petty things
Hmm.
or the judicial system failed them,
Hmm. Just like this.
just like this case,
Mhm.
where the candidate has the potential,
Hmm.
but they now have no reason to live a meaningful life.
Hmm.
If that is the case, then let's give them a meaning.
I see. So, Guru, I'm going to flex for a minute, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And I want you to follow me down the rabbit hole for a second. So, Hamza doesn't want to do it, but do you remember the director's name?
Yes, Ajay Sanyal.
Can we
Ajay Sanyal.
should we just call him Director Sanyal?
Yeah.
So, Director Sanyal gives him a speech to convince him to go and do his duty. Now, who does that sound like? From Hinduism. Krishna
Yeah.
talking to Arjun.
Yes.
Do you think it was an intentional allegory?
No.
Well, they use a quote from the Bhagavad Gita in the beginning of the movie.
That is right. That is right. But any convincing takes talking, right? If I'm facing a very complex situation
Hmm.
and I feel I'm not ready, I always look out to someone who gives me that courage to go and do my
Yeah. I think
task.
you can't say any scene where someone convinces someone to do something else.
But I actually, honestly, I love the analogy.
Thank you. We're treating this like it's fine literature now. Okay, so we're going to jump forward to 11 August 2009, and we have a scene where he burns the picture of his family before infiltrating Pakistan, and he says,
Coincidentally,
Jaskirat is dead. Hamza lives, and he can't go back.
yeah. Coincidentally, today is August 11th.
Oh, wow. How about that? So 17 years ago. So chapter 2 is called Lucifer, and we have Raymond's funeral, and the next segment is the gang war's not over. We have a new villain, a new gangster named Papu, and they have to fight the war versus him.
Yep.
And this involves a lot of backstabbing and plotting and counter-plotting, because you still have Major Iqbal and you still have SP Aslam Chowdhury. They're all still doing their stuff.
Yep.
There's a part where they talk about how they got this shopkeeper killed by falsely accusing him of mocking the prophet. It gives you a little bit of slice of life in Pakistan.
Yep. If things don't work their way, they make up things to get people out of their lives.
Yeah, exactly. In this chapter, it's this big gang war versus Papu. We get more violence. Hamza uses a ball and chain where the ball is on fire and starts smacking people.
Oh my god.
Now, the thing is, and I don't really want to be critical, but it keeps popping up. The problem with this scene is we've seen it before. This is just Raymond Baluch's guys versus his father's guys from the first one,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So we've seen the gang war already. We didn't really need to see it again.
Yep. But I think there are a few things happen behind the screens that we need to note, that he brings his the Indian spy from the other gang
Right.
into his gang.
Mm-hmm.
He proves, he establishes himself a lot more.
Yeah.
I understand behind all this violence, a lot of the plot is like lost because it's all about shooting, people dying, all this like gore ways of killing people.
Right.
But sticking to the plot, a lot happens around there. How they eliminate him, completely eliminate him. They show how he rose from almost like a henchman to
You mean Hamza, that is?
Yeah,
Okay.
Hamza.
So, I had some losing track of the pronouns. Well, so Uzair Baluch is the new head of the Baluch gang.
correct.
But he is not taking the death of Raymond well.
Mhm.
He's into drugs. He's really nervous. So Hamza gets rid of him, as it turns out, more permanently than you think.
Yes.
Yeah. So this part has a lot of backstabbings and betrayals,
Yes.
right? So Jamil, the politician, betrays Papu to Hamza's gang, resulting in his death at a milk factory.
Correct.
And then Hamza betrays Uzair, getting him arrested in Dubai.
Correct.
Yeah. So that was some neat stuff.
And both of these together sets up Hamza
Hmm.
to be the Sher of Baloch, which is the master of Baloch, or the king of Baloch.
Yes, that's right. And meanwhile, something else I wanted to mention is Chowdhury. So we watched the first one with my parents recently, and we described Chowdhury to them as a good guy, and he's not. In the first one, he's on Hamza's side because he wants to take out the gangsters. But this time, he's a bad guy because he still works for the Pakistan military / police. So we establish really well that he's a villain when he, in order to help Jamil's political status, he finds a bunch of random Baluch kids and kills them.
Yeah, that is an important political meeting that happens where the party head says all this violence is creating uncertainty about whether the party is going to make it to the elections or not. So we have to do something to control the situation.
Right.
Where, yes, at that point, like you said, SP Chaudhary relies on this distraction.
Yeah.
That he wants
Scapegoat.
to create. Yes, he wants to create a distraction by killing a couple of Baloch
Right.
students,
yeah.
tagging them as terrorists, so that the news gets distracted and the main stream clears off of this political
Right.
drama.
But who is one of the students that he kills?
Yes, so that's the Baloch United Force head Shirani's grandson that Rahman got a medical seat for in the first movie.
Right. By the way, if you haven't seen the first one and you jump into the second one, you're going to be totally lost. They don't recap anything. They don't do any, maybe they do a little bit of flashbacks, but not much. You had better know your stuff and you better pay attention.
Yeah.
Because the movie is not going to wait for you.
Yes.
Okay, so at the end of the day, though, Hamza is peaked. He walks around, he struts his way through the Baluch hideout. He's got his sunglasses. He has more hair, like I said in the limerick, and he sits on the throne, and we get a banner that says King of Liori.
Yeah.
So he finally did it. He finally took the most important part of the most important town in all of Pakistan.
Yeah, that's right. He made it.
They were able to manipulate the elections and get Jamil to switch parties to the Muslim Momentum or Muslim Movement Party.
Yes.
And that's how he's able to stay in power.
Correct.
Yes, that's right. There is some politicking, but I don't know how much the audience is interested in hearing about that. But just like in the first one, there is some of that as well.
Okay. Okay, now let's move on to
meeting. So they
chapter 3. Yeah.
Yes. So in chapter 3, there's a scene with Major Iqbal where they talk about how they tried to prevent Modi from becoming Prime Minister of India but fail, and his dad is really mean to him.
Yes.
Major Iqbal's dad.
Yes. The dad is mean, and the dad is disappointed with the son that he expects him to do something for the Indian government to fail, but despite whatever Major Iqbal is trying to do, he's failing, and the disappointment is introduced when Modi comes into power, despite the attempts. And yes, the new party is not shows that
it seems like they're going to be more aggressive against terrorism.
Yes.
Which is exactly what Major Iqbal doesn't want.
Correct.
Since he is a terrorist.
Yes.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Hamza is becoming more integrated into the terrorist infrastructure, which was the plan all along. And they ultimately take him to this place called the White House, where all of the worst are being housed. And I expected him to blow up the house by the end of the movie, by the way. If this were an American action movie, he would have done that.
Because the house still is erect and working, functional, and Dawood Ibrahim still lives, and the story is inspired by true events. And the house is still there, and the terrorist still lives there.
Dang, too bad you can't just drop a bomb on it. So he meets Dawood Ibrahim, which they refer to both earlier in this movie and the first one as Badi Saab.
Yeah.
He's like the
Big Sir.
Godfather.
Yeah.
Big Sir. He's the Godfather. He looks like the grandpa from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is a horror movie, if you've ever seen that. They talk about what they're going to do next.
Yes. And what they talk about doing next is actually
A big attack, right?
no.
No?
For introducing a lot of drugs into the country and sell them at 10 times the price of it, and whatever money comes out of it, use it in putting terrorist activities, plan to use it to make terrorist attacks on the country. So during the conversation, one of them says, wow, what a great idea that you're actually ruining them from the inside,
right,
and using that money to ruin them in other ways.
Yeah.
Excellent idea.
It's a shitty idea is what it is. But these guys are the bad guys for a reason.
Yes.
And fortunately, Hamza is perfectly positioned to interfere with this if everything goes well. But that leads to the next problem, which is the big party scene at his house. So they are going to bring in some drug dealers to handle the drugs. Because these guys don't do drugs.
Correct.
And who should show up as one of these drug dealers but
Pinda, the brother-in-law.
From the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Now, ordinarily, I would say this is so dumb that his long-lost best friend from 20 years before just so happens to be the one guy perfectly positioned to ruin the plans. However, before you jump in, they do set it up because in the opening scene of the movie, they talk about how his father is a drug dealer.
Correct.
And it makes sense that he would fall into that same line of work. And they work with Atif Ahmed,
Correct.
the politician slash gangster slash terrorist.
Thank you. Thank you for tying the dots together. And that is exactly the reason why it made sense when they showed the movie. The movie started with those scenes.
Yeah.
Where they show the friendship between them. They already show that the friend knows a drug dealer who's also a politician, who's also a gangster.
Yeah.
They also show the connection that his dad had with the gangster.
Right.
Dots are all connecting now.
You know the term set up and payoff? So like something in the script in screenwriting, you set something up and it pays off.
Correct.
This movie unfortunately doesn't pay off a lot, but it does do good setups and payoffs.
I think it does a very good, decent job.
Yeah.
Very good job of connecting some of those dots unless we miss the plot and a little bit of subtle scenes here and there. Then yes, we might be lost with the plot. But I think they did a very good job tying them back. Considering
how many elements there are flying around and how many characters, I guess there you go. I'm going to have some questions for you towards the end of the movie. I hope you can keep up. So it all goes down in this big party scene. Hamza is not sure if this guy, do you remember the guy's name?
Pinda.
If Pinda recognizes him. But we get a climactic scene in the bathroom where Pinda says to him, "Don't you miss home, Jassy?" Dun, dun, dun. And that's where we had the intermission when we saw the movie in the theater.
Yeah.
So he tries to talk him down. It doesn't work. They fight. Pinda dies. And this time, the director plays with the timeline again, but it works a lot better. Because it cuts in time where you see Hamza back at the party, and then he runs in to find his friend Alam holding the gun. And not literally holding a gun, holding a weapon, and then he kills Alam to prevent the Pakistanis from finding out that he's an Indian spy.
Yeah.
Then we flash back to find out that they work together, so Alam would take the fall and protect Hamza's secret identity. So something else I wanted to mention is Yelena, his wife, sees the blood on his ear in this part, so she knows that he wasn't just sitting there minding his own business when this Indian spy out of nowhere killed this drug dealer.
Yep.
But again, this doesn't really pay off.
It pays off when she actually, at the end of the party, sees SP Chowdhury having a conversation with Omar.
Yeah. She's putting two and two together as well. So we have the war with Papu, then we have the reveal of the friend, ghosts from the past, and now the next part is the walls start to close in on Hamza.
Yep.
What do you say? So SP Chowdhury suspects him.
Um, yes, at the party, a few things happen.
Hmm.
One, Yelena is not comfortable having all this party happening with her kid around, with people on drugs, with
Yeah.
people with weapons,
Hmm.
and that's where the whole Pinda identifying Jaskirat happens. The confrontation happens. The killing of Pinda happens. Alam gives away his life
Correct.
or sacrifices his position to save Hamza. He sees the blood. The wife Yelena
Right.
sees blood on his ear. She starts to suspect. Later in the day, as the party closes, there's a conversation between Omar and SP Chowdhury talking about something being very suspicious about Hamza.
Yeah, they say Hamza never kills for no reason, right?
Yes.
They say that.
Yeah. And so SP asks Omar to keep an eye on him.
Right.
And he says, when you have a suspicion, you should take it forward.
Hmm.
That's when Yelena goes back to check his closet, their closet.
Yeah.
She ends up finding his
Arya Stark kill journal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have a Razi moment here.
Correct.
So for those of you who have been listening to Spy Fi Guys for a while may remember we did the movie Razi, where this tiny little woman points a gun at her huge husband, except this time he's the spy, not her.
Yeah.
Yeah. This part is actually really interesting. I'm glad you brought up this scene, because he's like, I'm not at war with your country. I'm at war with the terrorists inside it.
Yes.
Which sounds very familiar.
Yep. Do you have any questions about that point?
Well, do you remember exactly how he was able to convince her not to turn him in?
Not really, but I think he puts a lot of facts forward. He says these people were behind this terrorist attacks, which killed so many people. So she says, why are you killing the innocent people of Pakistan? And then he starts to explain how these people have plotted things against India.
Right.
And how many people have died from our country. And he asks her, are they not innocent?
Yeah, that's right. But I think he also appeals to, like, he's like, we have a kid, don't do this to our kid. I think that comes up too. No?
He says, give me some time. I promise I won't do anything to you. I won't do anything to the kid. Give me some time. When it's time, I will let you surrender.
Okay. So it was a very interesting part, because Yelena, she barely is in this movie compared to the first one, but she was never political, which is ironic because her dad is a politician. I think she just wants Hamza to, like, win his gang war, and then they all ride off into the sunset together. She never struck me as especially patriotic, but I guess when the chips are down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They don't show her in any side of her as if she has a stronger side. But when the opportunity arrived, she shows that, yes, I love my country. How can you do that against our country?
Right.
Where he then puts forward his opinion about what Pakistan did to India.
Right.
And that stops her from handing him off.
Yeah.
However, it's on a brim timeline.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I thought his point that it's like, I'm at war with the terrorists, not on your country. Yeah. I thought that was pretty persuasive. So we have a brief part.
It is persuasive.
Yeah. So we have a brief part where he enlists the Baluch to help him. And he tells them about how SP Chowdhury killed the grandson of the leader.
Yes.
And then we have a brief bit where he sets up SP Chowdhury to be killed using some misdirection. Remember, he tells Uzair that's like there's two convoys, and one of them has Chowdhury and one of them doesn't, and he calls Chowdhury to talk some smack to him. He's like, I don't remember the exact lines of dialogue, but he's like, I'll see you. He's like, when you get to heaven, like, put in a good word for me or something like that.
Yeah. He calls him and provides him a route that is not the right. I mean, he knows that if he gives him a route to track,
the major thing is he sets up S.P. Chowdhury to be killed, and it's like a chess game. Like each one of his,
But they are on the way to pick up someone.
isn't it? It's Uzair. They're on their way to pick up Uzair, right? Then they could potentially release him. He would take over the gang, and then Hamza would be out of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the way they kill Chowdhury is with a suicide bomber driving a car.
Yeah.
Which is pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
I guess that one guy just really trusted Hamza that he was giving his life for the Baluch, even though that's not really the case.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue he was getting revenge for the grandson.
Yes, because it was provided by the Baluch United Force.
Yeah.
He's the one who said, I have a guy who will do the job for you.
Yeah. How did you feel to see S.P. Chowdhury go?
It was sad. It was sad.
Yeah.
Because he's one person who, yes, he was political. Yes, he's not ideal. But I think of everyone there, he had the most values, and he was trying to get the gangsters in control.
But he did team up with Major Iqbal. They were literally rubbing shoulders, right, earlier in the movie.
Yes, but he also got a warning, if you remember, that how did you let Rehman happen? Next time you are checking with me before you do anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he tried to control him. So he is playing his pawns carefully.
Yeah. Well, he had a lot of personality, which I appreciate.
Yep.
He wasn't a big block of wood like a lot of characters are. Okay, so Uzair is found guilty, and we move into Chapter 5, Unknown Men, the best part of the movie.
Unknown gunmen.
Yeah, the unknown gunmen. So there's a part where they talk about India is bombing Pakistan. Hamza goes to Dubai and has a 007 moment where he opens the door to his hotel room and thinks that there's an assassin inside, but it's just his boss.
Yep.
Who he hasn't seen probably literally in years. And a Kanani brother is arrested, we learn, and we get into a part where it's like multiple threats, which I love. It was like Chernobyl where there's multiple threats. And we have this currency moving threat where they're going to try to crash India's currency with all of this counterfeit money.
Yeah.
Hamza's boss tells him he has a free hand, which I think is funny because I felt like he had a free hand before.
I think what freehand really means, as I understood, was yes, they showed as if he had freehand, but he was making sure he was getting approvals when he was taking certain actions. Though they were not showing it in the movie how he was doing it, but there was interactions with the intelligence agency as to what was going on. He was not taking decisions all by himself.
Yeah, that's fair. And then another interpretation that I had was it's time to stop being a gangster and focus on killing terrorists, right? Because he wasn't doing that before. I mean, he was, but it was more of a side benefit of gaining power to become king of Liari. Now it's time to use that power.
Yeah. I think another interpretation for me was he was trying to have control over these gangs.
Right.
Now that you have established yourself and you have a bigger network, you have more people, let's go back into history. Open your book and look at all the list of people you had on your Arya Stark's
kill list, right?
Kill book.
Yeah.
And knock them off.
That's right. So a couple of things happen. The first is we have Operation Greenleaf, demonetization of India's currency, which is how they counter the counterfeit currency.
Yeah.
So are you comfortable talking about Modi on this podcast? Or
sure.
Okay, so this part made Modi look really good. There's a part where Modi makes an announcement where he says, in order to stop these nefarious terrorists, we are announcing that all 1,000 and 1,500 rupee notes will become invalid. And one of the bad guys, I think it's Major Iqbal, is like, curse that tea seller, he's foiled us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He comes off like he's like Snidely Whiplash, and he's like, Dudley Do-Right has foiled me.
Yeah. I think that was a heroic action. It happened overnight where they took the decision. Imagine a country having I cannot count the number of zeros. Probably um million dollar billions of dollars
Right.
coming into the US as counterfeit
Mhm.
money.
Yeah.
How much that would shatter the economy if they
Mm.
had not taken a drastic action like that.
Mm.
And yes, it was not received very well in the country, and he and as a ruling leader
Mm.
had a lot of criticism, had a lot of doubt, question, etc. as part
Okay.
of this decision.
Mm.
So the scene makes it really important that it actually gives the history of why he had to do it.
Yeah. So this was a real life event. It really happened.
Yes, it did happen. I was in the US, I had some currency, and I remember a lot of people using their network start to send that money back to India on time
Mm.
to make money for the currency that you hold.
So how much was 1,000 rupees at the time? Do you remember?
1,000 rupees is up to $10.
So that's not even that much money per
No.
note.
Yeah, but how many thousands do people have?
Yeah, I guess if you keep a lot of cash.
Yes, and all the black money is dealt in cash.
Right.
Right?
So it shows
the money in the
India-
bank is
Yeah.
good, but what about the money which is
Yeah.
in someone's basement?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a problem if you keep your money in your basement. There's a part where it shows
A
people.
1,000 note is like, imagine in the US them saying, okay, we are taking off all $10 notes or $50 bills.
It would definitely shake things up.
Yeah.
There's a part where it shows Indians standing in line. It doesn't say what they're standing in line for.
They're standing in the line for exchanging their old currency to the new currency.
Yeah, so that's one way to do it. But you can't do it. You have like a limited window to do it, right?
Yes. You
So-
have to do it only within 2 months or something like that.
So in terms of making Modi look good, credit where it's due, I say. It's like saying any movie about the killing of bin Laden makes Barack Obama look good. It's like, well, he was president, so
Yeah.
he gets the credit.
Yes, of course. And it was a very hard decision for Obama to take at the time, whether it was a go or no go. No
Mm.
one really, everyone put facts together.
Mhm.
But it was ultimately him who took the decision of go.
Right.
Obviously, he gets the credit for it.
Mhm.
And I am not surprised that Modi gets the credit for doing demonetization and stopping from all of this thing
Yeah.
from happening.
Mm.
It is overdue and well deserved.
It was a really interesting and creative solution to this counterfeit money problem. And it's really satisfying to see the terrorists, especially the Kanani brother, the surviving one, like panicking and like losing their shit
Correct.
because all of their money is now worthless and they're millions of dollars in the hole. Even before Hamza shows up like Michael Myers to kill him. So there's horror movie vibes like Kanani brother is killed, and then we just get mass murder, basically. The unknown men start killing people here.
Yeah. So we started with unknown gunmen
Mhm.
and we went back into
They said
happened
Hamza
behind it.
free hand, and then we get the demonetization, and then we get the unknown gunman.
Yeah.
Plus Hamza killing people, not just the Mossad style where they drive up and shoot somebody, but we get the director's wife cameoing as a nurse who was injected some poison into a guy. And then Hamza, like I said, he killed the Kanani brother, and we got the names of people as they get knocked off. It's just name after name after name after name. And I'm
And
like, this is what we signed up for.
yeah, what did you think of the scenes where they bring up like a slide with these unknown gunmen's death profile pictures
Hmm.
with some detail?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot.
Yes, and what else did you observe on those slides?
What did I observe?
Yeah,
Well, like what terrorist activities these guys were responsible for doing, including the ones that we saw from the first movie, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they eventually catch up with the guy from the first movie who hijacked the airplane, and he said they even call up the director of Raw to shit talk him before they kill him, which I appreciated that, to FaceTime him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't even recognize this hijacker when we saw him the second time. And you know what? He doesn't just shit talk him. He really like rubs it in. He makes him beg for mercy and make him say glory to Mother India, and they
Yep.
still kill him.
Yep.
It's like, Jesus Christ. hardcore. So the news says all these people are getting bumped off, possible Indian involvement, in quotation marks.
Yep.
And Hamza makes an attempt on Dawood Ibrahim, but
Yes.
fails. At this meeting with Dawood, Dawood?
Dawood Ibrahim is the UNSC most wanted terrorist. So it's not like the most wanted terrorist local to India or local to any country.
Yeah.
He is a United Nations most wanted.
Yeah.
Most wanted.
He's just the
for
most
several,
wanted. Yeah.
The most wanted by several countries.
Yeah. Now that Osama bin Laden is gone.
Yeah.
So in this meeting, Hamza tries to kill him with some poison in a Band-Aid.
Yep.
And they talk about how they're like, oh my God, these Indians are killing us. We need a big counterattack. And of course, they play the victim. They're like, oh, they've killed so many of us. It's so unfair. But this is where the big showdown of the movie is happening. Is in this place called Miradiki, where the mosque is at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever heard of this place?
No.
I had never heard of it.
No.
Because I guess it's in Pakistan, though. So Hamza is like, we're running out of time. We need to do something big. Because he knows that the Pakistanis are eventually going to figure out who he is.
Yeah.
And they're making progress on that.
They actually show the training of these people where inside the mosque,
Yeah.
they show a bunch of people who are ready and willing to give away their lives.
Yeah, jihadist terrorists.
Yes.
Correct.
So earlier in the movie, they actually show a scene where Major Iqbal promises Hamza to show, let me take you and show you how the jihad training works. And they take us into this mosque where all of the some of these people are giving their hair away. He asks them, are you all ready to give up your lives? Do you all believe in the cause that you have born in this life? That sort of slogans. And they all are cheering that they're all ready for the upcoming task.
Yeah. And we get back to, this is kind of like, it's like poetry, it rhymes.
Yeah.
We get back to that. And yeah, Iqbal makes this big speech about terrorism. No need to go into that. And meanwhile, over at Hamza's house, Casa de Hamza, Omar, SP Chowdhury's sidekick, who's become the new SP, confronts Yelena, and he's revealed to be the most evil character in the movie, in my humble opinion. Because he threatens her kid, remember?
Yeah.
And it's interesting, he asks her only one question, tell me the truth and you live. And he asks her, is he a Indian agent?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I thought he was going to ask, did you know he was an Indian agent? But I guess that's sort of implied.
Yeah.
Because if she says yes, then of course she would know. There's the scene where Iqbal kills his dad.
Yes.
Anything you want to say about that? Just his dad pushes him too far.
Yeah. His dad pushes him too far throughout the movie. However, when the demonetization news comes in, they're still processing because it's a big word that they had given for Dawood Ibrahim. So there's a lot on there that they've committed to and they're not able to make it. He's disappointed, angry, upset. And that's when his dad says something to him.
Yeah, he's like, you're not even my son. I wish you weren't even my son or something like that. Yeah.
That was his usual, but this time he reacts because of all this anger and disappointment.
Right.
Along with what his father says. His father doesn't say anything unique for the situation that warrants for his death.
Right.
But all the situation that is happening around him gets him to that point where he...
Yeah. It definitely feels like we're coming to some climactic resolution.
Yeah.
In both Iqbal's personal life.
And Hamza's side.
Yeah, that too. It's really about family. That's what the movie is about.
Yeah.
I'm not being I like sarcastic. Like, that's true. I think it is. Okay, so we get Angel of Death. It's not really a chapter. We just see Major Iqbal at the mosque and it says Angel of Death. Hamza goes in to meet him and it's a very frustrating scene in this part. Iqbal knows that he's an Indian spy at this point.
Omar knows it, and Omar calls as soon as Yelena confesses.
Yeah.
Omar calls
Major
Iqbal and says that he is an Indian agent.
And Major Iqbal seemed to have no idea, right?
Correct.
Before he told him that.
Yes, he is completely in shock.
Yeah.
And yes, at the mosque, as they're gathering for the weapon deal or weapon exchange for
Right.
the terrorist plot that they're planning against India,
Mhm.
Hamza comes in to drop the
He
weapons.
delivers the weapons. Everything seems normal. And like I said, it was frustrating because Hamza is always 10 steps ahead of everybody else. But he just lets Major Iqbal walk up to him and literally stab him in the back.
There are also some clues that start to come in. The Rizwan, who is the Indian agent who's also sidekick to Hamza,
Mhm.
is not allowed into the mosque. The doors were closed on him.
That's right.
The money that they give in return for the weapons is all white paper. It's not even currency.
Yeah.
And on the outside, they start to show us the whole setup, like some gas cylinders coming in, parking in
Yeah.
unexpected places, some
The guys on the rooftop.
force, yeah,
Yeah.
like military force sort of taking positions,
Yeah.
etc. So they start to show signs of things coming like close to an end. And then, yes, you're right about
Well, it's a trap within a trap within a trap, which is
Yes.
kind of interesting.
and he gets stabbed.
Mhm.
As we see Hamza getting injured, and Major Iqbal is almost trying. He says, "I want to kill you, but I want to give you slow death."
Right.
And we
Which
see,
explains why he doesn't just put a bullet in him.
yeah, and Hamza starts to like react. He starts to laugh, which is a very evil, sarcastic, "you're missing something" kind of laugh.
Well, it's like scary. It's like when the Joker is like, "Ha, Batman, don't you know I already have a bomb in your car?"
Exactly.
Like that.
Yes, that kind of laugh.
Mhm.
And do you remember what next happens?
Well, the explosives underneath the mosque go off, right?
Yeah, so they are disguised as weapon delivery. However, underneath the weapon delivery is actually bombs,
Right. Big ones.
big ones, built to take off the mosque and
Well, all the mujahideen that are inside
the
of
gang.
it. Yeah, it was kind of funny. They discover it and then they start running. I'm like, what's the matter, guys? Didn't you want to die for your cause? No need to wait.
That's a very good.
So it was interesting because Hamza says to Rizwan, no matter what happens, send the text message
Yes.
to set off the bombs. And he's like, but you'll be inside. And Hamza's like, trust me.
Yes.
Now, the thing is, how does Hamza know he's going to survive? Or maybe he just like hopes he'll survive?
No, I think at that point, Hamza is not thinking about his own survival, whether I would make it or not. But I want to take this Mujahideen gang down.
Yeah.
Along with Major Iqbal. If I'm inside, if I die, Major Iqbal dies, Mujahideen gang dies, everyone inside the mosque dies.
That's pretty
Which
good.
is a very good deal.
Yeah.
So I think he takes that risk.
Okay, that's fair. So the bombs go off, but actually none of those guys on the upper level die.
Yeah.
Neither Iqbal nor Hamza nor these other two random people who we've never seen before. So Hamza kills those two guys very gruesomely by like throwing a heavy table onto one of them. The problem is it's less satisfying because we don't know who they are. Like we've never seen them before.
Actually, they showed them before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but not in active. They are all these players who are in the background doing things.
Yeah.
So we didn't see them as active people, but they were in the first movie, second movie, in the background.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. You're really observant. I did not notice that. I thought he was like, well, Kanani's dead and the other guy's dead, so we're down to you two.
Yeah.
You guys get promoted.
I remembered only one guy, not the second one. So, yeah, I think they're just trying to show that he is with his people and he's taking them all down. Okay.
So then the Battle of the Beards, as I call it, begins. So Hamza and Iqbal fight. Well, meanwhile, the Baluch, who turned out to be the guys in those uniforms, are killing the terrorists outside of the mosque, including Rizwan with this giant machine gun. It's pretty satisfying to watch. It's pretty fun. I'm not as into action scenes as I used to be.
Me neither.
But, you know.
Yes, it's part of the movie.
Who deserve it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Major Iqbal escapes.
I forgot about this part. He escapes. Hamza comes out, shoots some people, and then chases after him.
Correct.
Yeah, I thought they just fight the whole time.
No, the fight,
Yeah,
and they leave the scene
right.
and they try to follow each other. You see them running through houses. One
Right,
is running
shooting
on,
at each other.
yeah,
That's
and
right.
and yes, ultimately they go through like a lumber house
Yeah.
and reach the
A rail yard, they fight there, fight. There's not much to say about it. But at the end of the day, Major 8 Ball gets blown up in this gigantic explosion while Hamza walks away. Cool guys never look at explosions.
He has one last call with Yelena, and
Okay. Yes.
he says goodbye to her,
Mm-hmm.
and he also reveals his name, and this is the last.
Mm-hmm. He gives up the family. Yeah. You just see him. I don't know. They play with the timeline a little bit at this part, but he's sitting there smoking when he gets arrested.
Yes, so he's just waiting there for him to be arrested.
Yeah. So we get the final chapter called Dhurandhar, and Hamza's being tortured by Pakistani intelligence. Omar is there, but the lead guy is this guy who I did not recognize. Maybe you did.
No, they are showing him for the first time.
Okay.
He is the ISI head,
Mm.
the equivalent of Ajay Sanyal on ISI side.
Yeah. So he's having a great time torturing Hamza. Sorry, Hamza. Always tough to see it.
Sorry, Hamza.
But then he gets a call from the head of Raw who convinces him to let him go, convinces in air quotes, to let Hamza go because he's blackmailing him that he gave intel to Israel.
Yes.
The Jews.
Yes.
And as much as I appreciate the shout out to the Jews, do you know what a Deus Ex Machina is? You ever heard that term? So it refers to a plot device that comes from, it's actually origins in Greek theater, where the characters are in trouble, there's no way out, and then a god descends from the ceiling to save them.
And that is Israel in this case.
Well, it's Raw, the Raw guy, I would say.
No, the Raw guy had access to. So who shooted this record? Who shooted the deal between Pakistan and Israel?
Well, the Israelis immediately told them. But what I mean is, and I know it's based on a true story. I have no idea if this is true. But I'm saying as a story, it really feels like it just comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it comes out because that's not the main plot of the movie.
Yeah. It's completely unrelated.
Yes, because the intelligence is dealing with multiple tracks of work.
Mm.
They already have a way. I think for me, as I watched as an audience, they had a card ready in their hand.
They've been saving it for 20 years
Correct.
or something. Yeah.
Correct.
Well, it's an example of how India is always 10 steps ahead. Even not Hamza specifically, but somebody's always one step ahead, right?
That is what intelligence does, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not surprising that it happened, but they knew what card to play. They had their cards ready.
Right. Just to save their most valuable guy.
Yes.
And actually, do you remember this? Hamza has a really good setup. This is like the best setup I've ever seen.
Yes.
Where the ISI director is like, well, we caught a spy. I need to have a spy to send to prison.
So we have announced it to the media. We announced to our nation that we got an Indian spy and we are going to
kill him.
or take up this case to fully understand what else is happening in the country or what is lined up. So what do I do now?
Yeah.
That's where Hamza says.
Uzair Baluch.
Exactly.
He said he kept him alive just for that situation. Which is, I guess it makes sense. You can't just pick some random guy off the street. It has to be someone high up in the terrorist infrastructure for it to make sense.
But one thing that I had a question and that got never answered was people already knew who Uzair is. How would they be fooled that he's an Indian spy?
Well, India could have turned him. They could have bribed him or blackmailed him.
Oh, so wait, Uzair all this time acted as a Baluch, though he was not a Baluch, he was an Indian spy.
No.
Being
sorry to cut you off. Hamza infiltrated, but I'm saying Uzair is a Baluch. He's always been a Baluch, but somewhere along the line, India got to him, and they convinced him to switch sides. That's a good. Yeah, which is totally plausible. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
I noticed he screws Uzair again, one more time. But then, Guru, this confused me. Why did Hamza turn himself in? Because you see later he's talking to the Baluch and he gives his journal to Rizwan and he's like, good luck, brother. And they're like, good luck, Hamza. See, he could have just left with them.
Yeah.
Any theories?
I think with Major Iqbal taking the mosque down, a Baloch United force getting involved, I think it was at a point where the escape was impossible.
Eventually
impossible.
they would get him because they knew who he was.
Correct. So
Okay.
that was also kind of a surrender. Yeah, my exercise is over. I've taken down.
Yeah. It's just a question of how many more gangsters in Baluch would have to die before they got him.
Yeah.
Right? That's a good theory. Okay, so...
Also, that they already knew he was an Indian agent. It's over.
Well, I mean, I'm saying he could have tried to get him out of the country and not have him be tortured.
Yeah, but how will he escape the country?
Well, I don't know.
Because he's an Indian agent, all the ports would have been informed. If you see this person, just catch him.
Okay, fair. So we get this final reveal. Well, not really the final reveal. We get a big reveal that Jamil is an Indian spy too, a politician.
Yes. So both the intelligent directors from RAW and ISI have a conversation, and they agree upon leaving.
Yeah.
Hamza.
Right.
At a certain point, and a car comes and picks up.
And it's Jamil inside.
Yep.
Yeah. He says how long? He says he's been here like 40 years. Jamil reveals that he put a slow-acting poison into Dawood in order to keep him alive to suffer.
Yes.
I wonder if he's questioning that decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a very interesting conversation between them where he says, I regret one thing that I couldn't poison him.
Yeah.
That's where Jamil reveals
how
he did that.
So it was pretty, because Jamil is just so friendly looking. You would never suspect him of anything.
Yep.
Okay, so Hamza goes home. He's got his turban back on. He's dressed in a suit. He's looked severely mangled, but he goes to see his family. But at the moment of truth, he can't go in to like meet them, to like greet them, right?
Yeah. So why do you think he did not meet?
Well, I'll tell you my theory. I think he feels like he's so like messed up and so not who he is that he can't go back to a normal life. And he saw his family and his family looked happy.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to change that.
The second theory is my theory, that he didn't want them to go back into the memories of having their son back.
All the pain.
Yes. And all the memories relive. He saw them happy and he was happy to know that they're happy.
Good. Yeah, that's nice.
He actually gets a picture of their family from Jamil.
Oh, that's right.
He burns the picture saying, okay, I'm putting a full stop back.
Well, it's like a bookend from the beginning of the movie. Yeah.
Yes. And then he goes to meet his family.
Like you said. So we get a couple of post-credit scenes. One showing his training, which was actually in the preview after the end of the first one. And a scene, I don't really know why they had a scene where the ISI director gets rid of Omar? Omar, yeah. Because Omar is like, well, you just let an Indian agent go. And he's like, don't question me.
Yes.
It's a kind of a weird note to end the epic duology on. But that's what they did.
Yeah.
I think it's a setup and a payoff so we know what happens to Omar.
Yes.
You know?
I think some people might have questions around what if Omar took it forward, proving that he was an agent, Hamza was an agent, etc. I think that's where they tried to probably close that thread that it died.
Spy fact versus spy fiction.
All right, so now it's time for our spy fact versus fiction. I'm going to try to make up for last time by having a lot. Hope you're ready, girl.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to start with the Baluch people, or the Baluches. I get all of this from Wikipedia. They're an ethnic group that speaks the Western Iranian Baluchi language and are related to the Baluchistan region of South and West Asia, which includes Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan. About 8 million of them live in Pakistan as of 2023. Do you know all this?
No.
I had no idea.
I didn't know that there were part of Iran and Afghanistan?
It lives in the region, which includes
Yes,
those
I did know
states.
that. I did know that.
Okay, I did not know that. So there have been 3 Baluchistan conflicts. The third one was from 1963 to 1969, and it ended with the Baluch separatists agreeing to a ceasefire, granting general amnesty to the separatists.
I see.
However, I was like, is the movie wrong then? They're not engaged in an active conflict. They are.
They are.
So, the Lemkin Institute for Genocide Prevention and Human Security said on August 29th, 2025, they have grave concern over the ongoing and escalating human security crisis in Baluchistan, where enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings, and militarized repression continues to devastate families and communities.
They partially show it in the movie too. Do you remember the scene where Yelena is pregnant and she's there visiting Baloch United Force as Hamza is having his conversations? He says poisoned the water and a lot of kids died.
Yeah, that was in the first one that they talked about.
Oh,
And they bring it back here.
Right?
Yeah.
That is a true incident.
Mm.
That the ISI poisoned Baloch water supplies and it killed a lot of people. It's a true, like, we can look up on news.
Okay,
That is
so it
true.
really happened?
Yeah.
I see. So, according to the International Voice for Baluch Missing Persons, so I don't know how reliable they are, but they say that over 7,000 Baluch individuals have been forcibly disappeared since 2004. Many of those are students, activists, and ordinary citizens accused of involvement with separatist activities.
I also read a news somewhere in Pakistan. They found places where they just found skulls.
Oh boy.
Like,
wow. That's scary.
crowds and crowds of skulls.
Yeah, like a mass grave.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And it's not like a grave like under the soil.
Mm.
It's like, imagine on the top of a terrace. So
I see.
Yeah.
So not an accident.
Correct.
Oh wow. Yeah. There's still a low level conflict happening, even still. So that's not so surprising. So the other thing I wanted to look up was when we saw the beginning where Hamza kills all of those gangsters, the John Wick style, you told me that vigilantism isn't unknown in India because the police are so ineffective.
Yeah.
Right? Like they say, the judicial system, the sister was in trouble, but the police would not help them because the gangsters were connected politically.
Yes.
So I Googled it and I found a Wikipedia page called Cow Vigilante Violence in India.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to go into that because that's not what the movie's about.
Okay.
But it is a thing. But
Cow.
Yes, cow vigilante violence. Are you familiar with this?
No, what does it mean? No, first thing I need to understand what it means.
Okay, I will tell you. It's cow vigilante violence is a pattern of mob-based collective vigilante violence seen in India, perpetrated by Hindu nationalists against non-Hindus, mostly Muslims, in the name of cow protection, which are considered sacred in Hinduism.
What is the group doing? What are the religious groups doing?
So cow protection groups see themselves as preventing cattle theft and smuggling, protecting the cow, or upholding the law which bans cow slaughter.
Uh-huh.
According to a Reuters report, a total of 63 cow vigilante attacks occurred in India between 2010 and mid-2017. 20 Indians, 24 of the Muslims were killed and 124 injured.
Okay.
So,
I'm not surprised because something like that happened near our house. Not as a vigilante. I don't know what vigilante means, but something happened near our house where a truck came. Obviously, the cattle don't reside inside the house; they're outside the house. And when the milkman is in his house, the truck just loaded the cattle into the truck and took them away.
So it was a cow napping?
Yeah.
I see. So vigilante is where you see a lawbreaker, but the police, you don't want to use the police or you can't use the police, so you enforce the law yourself. So Batman, Spider-Man, these guys are vigilantes.
Got it.
So I found an article called Misinformation Support for Vigilantism in India and Pakistan. And they talked about in December 2021 in Sialkot, Pakistan, a Sri Lankan factory manager was killed by a mob of angry employees after rumors spread that he had torn down religious posters at the workplace. They also had an example of cows. And then there was another one where they talked about someone who was accused of insulting the prophet, just like in the movie. Yeah, just like in the movie. So I also looked up unknown men addressing a gathering.
Unknown gunmen.
Unknown gunmen, sorry. Addressing a gathering after the funeral of an unnamed terrorist leader, a guy named Rizwan Hanif, a top commander of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, alleged that agents of India's spy agency, the Research and Analysis Wing, had killed more than 30 of his brothers in the past 4 years. But you know when that was written? August 3rd, 2026.
Okay.
So, according to the article, it's like happening again. Like unknown gunmen are killing terrorists in Pakistan, like recently.
Okay. Yes, I think the concept of unknown gunmen started
Mm.
and was rapid at the time, but it's not like done or over.
Yeah, so that was
And
interesting.
yeah, so I watched some other podcast and read some material where they said it's not just Indian spies who are doing it.
Mm.
They have many. Pakistan has enough enemies that they've built over time
Mm.
that people are coming forward
Mm.
to do that for India or for their own community or for their own
Or another country.
or another country.
Yeah. Or just if you want money,
Yes.
you do that too.
Yeah, and also Pakistanis are turning in information for money, their own people.
So, just really quickly, according to a brief article, the real story behind Dhurandhar, how Indian R and AW infiltrated Karachi underworld to eliminate most wanted terrorists by Sumit Alawat at the Eurasian Times. So she said Indian agents had successfully infiltrated local criminal gangs to recruit low level criminals for assassinating individuals wanted for terrorism charges in India. And she said the rise of killings was in 2023.
Yep.
And they also allegedly recruited jihadists to carry out the shootings, making them believe they were killing infidels. How do you like that? And it was said that the 2019 Pulwama attack was the trigger that forced them to start doing it. So that's what I have for spy fact versus fiction.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Also, I kind of feel
Obviously, the stunts, physical confrontations, specific character deaths, such as dramatic falls from buildings, are heightened for Hollywood-style action value rather
Right.
than historical accuracy.
I feel like if he had blown up a mosque, we probably would have heard about it. But then again, maybe not. But yeah, throwing the Kanani brother off the roof, that felt pretty fictional too.
Nicely done. Yeah, fair. But not anything on the major storyline, right? All of these are like heightened
Yeah.
style of doing it in like Bollywood or
Yeah.
Yeah.
The general framework of the story seemed to be based on a true story, yes.
Favorite quotes.
Okay, so now it is time for our favorite quotes. Would you like to go first with some favorite quotes?
I had two quotes.
All right.
I can't recollect where this scene happens, but he says, in this life, my family comes first, but if the divine gives me another chance, I'll give it to the country.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But he ended up having to do both. You don't have to choose.
Yeah.
Or did he? Huh? You could almost say he had two lives. One life dies, another one begins.
Yeah.
Huh?
He did have two lives. The
Mm.
one that he left behind to start the other one.
That's right. And then sort of came back. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
The other one I like is, I think Jamil says this in some part in the first movie. SP Chaudhary says it in the second part. But it's the same quote, and says you cannot put loyalty and politics in the same sentence.
well, he would know, right? Yeah, he's speaking from experience on that one. Well, so that reminds me of a similar one. I can jump into mine. SP Chowdhury says, a Baluch will always be a Baluch. Yeah, we learned he's part of some other community in this.
Yes, he's on the
Movie.
Pathan.
Yeah.
Like he's on the other side of Baluch.
So that was cool. I like when Major Iqbal stabs Hamza and he says, how does it feel to be the one stabbed in the back, Hamza?
Yeah.
Ah. I like when the director says, you're wasting your time and more importantly mine. I like some of the funny ones.
Where does that scene?
It's when he's calling to blackmail the ISI director.
Oh yeah.
And the ISI director pretends like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
There's a couple, they talk about shoving things up your butt a lot. Like there's a part where someone says to Jimmy, I'll shove those ducks up your butt. And finally, I think, what will I finish with? Yeah, I think my favorite, honestly, I know it's kind of a cliche, but I do like "Don't You Miss Home, Jesse."
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool line.
Hmm.
Dun dun dun.
Did you see that coming?
Did I see it coming? No, I did not, because it was like 2 hours prior that we had met that friend.
Yeah.
And I don't try to stay one step ahead of the movie most of the time. Just sort of let it wash over me like a nice warm bubble bath. Did you see it coming?
I didn't see it coming, but moments before it happened, maybe when he says, can you come and show me where the restroom is?"
That's a little suspicious. Yeah.
That's when it started to feel like, hold on.
Because he looks quite different, the friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already drugged,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And Hamza gives him the way to the restroom, and he says, "No, can you come with me?" That's when I thought.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Ratings.
All right, so now it is time for our ratings on a scale of 1 to 10 martinis, 1 being Avengers 1998 level bad, 10 being even better than Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. How would we rate
Dhurandhar 2, The Revenge.
Well, it's not Dhurandhar 2, The Revenge. It's just Dhurandhar, The Revenge, right?
Oh.
There's no number. That's what I was trying to say it correctly.
You're right.
So sometimes, yeah, you guys do numbered sequels, but not in this case. So how would we rate Dhurandhar, The Revenge?
That goes first.
So I'm going to go first. So I didn't write down the pros and cons. The biggest issue for me with this movie is comparing it to the first one. The first one I thought was really good. I rated it an 8 out of 10. I think it's actually more like an 8.5. I'd probably push it up even more. So if I was judging this on its own, I would give it a lot more of a rating. But I just feel like it's a big step down from the first one. The first one grabs you really well. There's a lot of good momentum. Sure, it's long, but it keeps it moving. Everything's fresh. The characters are interesting, and it's different. Now, the issue with this one is it's a lot of stuff we've seen already. We've already seen a gang war. We've already seen the unknown gunman. When the unknown gunman killed the terrorists, it was pretty similar to the fighting against Decade's forces in the first one. So let me say, the things I like, it's nice to have the characters back. It still has that same energy, epic scale, awful, evil bad guys, righteous heroes. You get that catharsis where Major Iqbal guessed what's coming to him. And you get to see the terrorists cry and then they die, which is awesome. They get totally foiled. India totally wins. That's great. It has that epicness that we want, that we need, and I appreciate that. Now, the negatives are, once again, it's extremely long. Like, it's the longest movie I've ever seen, and I think it's going to stay that way.
Yeah.
And that opening action scene, it had a lot of issues. We don't need to go into that again. The way it begins is really important, and it's just the first one started off so much better. And also just these big bombastic action scenes, they don't do a lot for me. When he fights Major Iqbal for like half an hour, yeah. So with all of that in mind, I still think it's a good movie, but it really is a step down from the first one. I will give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. I would not recommend it to just about anyone. I would say, unless you love the first one and you just got to know how the story ends, that's probably the only people I would recommend it to.
Got it. I agree with most part.
Okay.
I am at 8. I'm between 8 and 8.5.
Okay. So you also like the first one more?
Yes. I like the first one for a different reason, and I like the second one for a different reason. The first one, the grip it had on us until the movie ends.
Right.
That's what I liked about the first one. However, the second one, what I liked about it is it connected all the dots. What started it, how he managed to infiltrate, how he takes the gangster leader out. But then the second one shows that there was much more to it, establishing himself, taking the terrorists down.
Right. And that is a strike against the first one, is that it's not a complete story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the second one to me gave a completion. That's what I liked about it.
Mm.
Everything you said, spot on. Like
Thank
the
you.
terrorist being taken down, the cards being ready, the story lining up, all these different characters. Yes, there was backstabbing, but also like how the characters are used for different purposes.
Yeah, like maneuvering.
Yes, pivoting so fast.
Right.
That's what I liked about it. And for me, personally, on a personal note, the demonetization was a big thing in India, and I remember my parents went through it. Every Indian, abroad or in the US, abroad or in India, went through it at some point
Mhm.
in their lives, and it is not something that no Indian who's in the current generations would have missed, and no one knew why it happened, and the movie gave it a very justification as to why that was the most needed thing.
Yeah, it's cool when like part of your life intersects this, and
Correct.
it kind of comes back around, and
Yes.
you see.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And for those reasons as well, I liked it. What I didn't like is all this Hollywood style action, the gore, violence. That's where I'm taking the marks off.
Fortunately, it didn't have anything quite as bad as the fishhook scene as the first one.
Yeah, but there was violence in other ways.
Yeah.
Where you know how the movie opened with those violent scenes.
Right.
Yes, the movie was long. I think those are my.
Those are okay. So that's why you gave it the rating that you did.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Guru.
Thank you for
And-
having me.
Thank you for joining us. You can find us on social media at the Spy-Fi Guys on Facebook, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram, as well as our merch store at redbubble.com. Until next time, I'm Zach.
And I'm Guru.
And we are the Spy-Fi Guys signing off.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Spy-Fi Guys. If you enjoyed our podcast, please be sure to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. The theme song from this podcast is Mistake the Getaway by Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Films, books, and television shows reviewed by our podcast are the intellectual property of their respective copyright holders, and no infringement is intended.
This is a personal podcast. Any views, statements, or opinions expressed in this podcast are personal and belong solely to the participants. They do not represent those of people, institutions, or organizations that the participants may or may not be associated with in a professional or personal capacity unless explicitly stated. Any views or opinions are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, or individual.
You can find our podcast on social media at The Spy-Fi Guys on Facebook, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram.